Okay, so today I'm going to be talking about the difference between RAW and JPEG files, and when to use them, when not to use them, how you should be using them, just the overall general mix of them. So let's get started. So I'm going to be opening up this folder, this file that I just took outside, and I'm going to open up a underexposed raw image. I've actually already edited it, so you're going to see the final that I did. So, but as you could see, the one thing that I did not change here was the temperature. But I'm going to reset everything to 0 right now. So you're able to see what the image originally looked like, and as you can see, as I keep basically resetting all of these settings, everything is just getting darker and darker and darker. That's me just accidentally messed up, and yeah, now everything's back to 0 sharpening. The only thing that we have to do is just change the hue to 0, because I changed the colors of the leaves in the background, which I'm going to get to that. So, as you notice, the temperature is at 46,000. Well, that didn't change, but now going on the exposure, when I overexpose this, as you can see, it's now starting to show the like black parts of the image where it's super dark, where you could not even see that from before. Sadly, this image was too underexposed to probably save that. It was way too dark, but here, like I said, temperature is, RAW came out with the temperature of what it thought it was, which that RAW has more layers or metadata than a JPEG file, which is why it is a larger file. So I'm going to leave it at 5750, bring the contrast down, highlights, I should probably bring highlights down, but I did, okay, yeah, that looks good. Can mess around with some shadows, whites, that could be brought down, blacks, up, because I want to make the background pop a little bit more. Okay, now as you can see, what I'm doing, yeah, it's too damaged, but if this was a normal image, that would have been completely unusable. At least, like, in Photoshop, I could probably fix that, so I'm just gonna finish up with some more little, presets on the photo to make me pop out a little bit more. Basically, manipulate where your eye goes, and just change the colors of the lead to make it more look like a fall vintage color, just so, because I like that tone. Hit open image, and now there we go. Definitely one thing I'm going to say with this is, the background where the shadows aren't that bad. I mean, it's very hard to use, but for the average eye, you probably won't notice it as much. But let's now open up the JPEG, and let's talk about the JPEG here. So, as you can see, the JPEG is only 1.8 megabytes, while the RAW file is 14.7, which is massive. So I'm going to open up the camera RAW filter. Now, as you can see, temperature is at 0. Going to bring that up, raise it up. But do you notice it's actually raising the temperature of the entire image? It's not picking out the lights or the darks. So that's it's the color balance, and that's one thing with the RAW files. It's a lot easier to basically, if your color balance was off when you were shooting, to fix that. So now I'm just going to try putting around the same presets as I did with the RAW file on the JPEG. Now, as you can probably tell, they're looking pretty much the same. RAW is just a more pro-usable file format that basically you won't want to just keep shooting in RAW. It's more like, on specific occasions, like if I'm doing a night shoot, I would always be shooting in RAW so I can manipulate light better and basically boost it. But, I mean, a lot of the time, JPEG's image work perfectly fine. RAW, there's extra steps, like, you have to download a VLC on your computer so you're able to open up a RAW file. But here, I'm now just gonna basically change the green zone. So now, here we go with that image. But going back, I can't just open up a file, but here's the difference right here. I need to turn down my highlights, because I'm popping out probably way too much, and I want this to look as similar as I possibly can. It's always easier to take away. You could always take away in photography or film, but you can never really add onto it. So taking light away is a lot easier than adding light. Okay, so that's pretty similar. One thing definitely for sure, the contrast down on the RAW is a lot less than the JPEG. But overall, I actually personally like the JPEG file better, especially for this situation. But if I took a night shot that I did, which I'm gonna post right now, there you go. Okay, now here is the file sizes, so you're gonna be able to see. I have a VLC download. This is the JPEG. One thing is a big difference is the photo quality. There's not as much detail. I could be zooming in, and it's a lot more pixelated, a lot closer in than an actual RAW file. So I'm going to open up a RAW file, so you're able to see. Also, this is the one thing about RAW files. If you don't have a VLC download, you have to open it up through another platform. I use Photoshop, but you could use Lightroom. I'm going to open up the RAW file up in Lightroom, and now, as you can see, the JPEG file, the RAW file has a lot more detail. The leaves are not fully pixelated, only the edges of the leaves, but that is better, way better than what it was from before. There's so much more detail that you could pick out. So if you wanted to zoom in on the photo, recrop the photo later on in Photoshop or in Lightroom, whatever you use, that will be a lot easier to do. So I'm gonna now go in and use this not smudge tool. Oh my god, I'm forgetting the name of the tool. But it is the tool where basically, oh god, I do not want to have that. That's way too big. I want to lighten up the image so you see. I want to lighten up the image. You can't even see the lights, the leaves there because it's so dark. Well, the RAW file is actually able to pick it up because not only did it really just take the normal photo, it actually figured out, or also took a photo of the lower or the shadows of the image at the right exposure. So now it looks a lot better. So overall, these files, I would 100% recommend using JPEG files than RAW files, but if you do feel confident in what you take and you have the storage to use, because like I'm saying, the size difference, 14 megabytes versus 2 megabytes, that's a lot. That's going to save you in a lot of storage. So definitely be cautious about what you use. Here, you know what? I'm going to, since this is a Panasonic image, here, I'm going to open this up really fast, and there we go. I'm going to Command I, yep, Command I. Okay, maybe, yeah, load, no. Actually no, I'm choosing a different one, yeah. Okay. Where is it? Okay, here. This could work. I want to hit Command I right here. So now, as you can see, this is just showing a lot more of the specs. The pixels, there's 3,400 pixels by 3,424. It's a square image. That's best for use for Instagram. That was just the framing that I was using. But the JPEG only has 2.4K by 2.4K. Now, when it's a 3.2, definitely the pixels differ. Like a 3.2 might have around 3,000 pixels wide, but for how compact a 1-to-1 ratio is, a RAW file with 3,000 pixels, that is a lot. But yeah, other than that, that is the difference between RAW and JPEG. Basically, here's just a little summary. I'm going to throw out a little summary so it's easier for you. RAW files, there's a different processing to them. They're better for for fixing a white balance later on. Easier for brightening an image. They have multiple files. They are a bigger size than a JPEG file, and there's a longer and harder process to deal with them, exporting them. And most DSLR cameras have RAW files, and then JPEG files, completely fine. I'm not saying JPEG files are horrible. I'm a fan of, I use JPEGs all the time whenever I'm doing stock photography. Then I will go to RAW, just because I make more money whenever I sell a RAW photo, just because it is a bigger size and it is a more usable photo all around. But yeah, that is the difference between RAW and JPEG files. Leave a like, subscribe, turn on post notifications, do what every other YouTuber tells you to do, and have a good rest of your day.